Hi, this is Kendra at Pencil and Pigment, and today I thought I would do a little fun, interesting story time about some historically interesting pigments. And yeah, most of them I'm going to talk about today are just going to be green. I'm going to do a draw with me, and this is in the super lightweight paper from Traveler's Company. And one piece of advice would be to get some sort of page protector, because when you draw with this super lightweight paper, it indents the next page. So let's talk about the first one. The first one we need to talk about is called Green Earth. Now this was used by the Greeks and Romans, and when they went to unearth all the things from Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius that had damaged everything, they found this color. They found this pigment in about 1809, and it was in a bunch of early Italian paintings, and it was used this is so strange, and I'm going to link some articles about some of these items, and I'm going to link portraits and paintings so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because this is going to sound really strange, and it looks really strange. So they actually used green earth to underpaint skin tones in the shadows. So if part of the face was in shadow, they would add a layer of this green earth color and then paint what they thought a skin tone pigment looked like over it. Now, when you look at it, it looks like the person doesn't feel well, like they're ill. And how they made green earth, it was from a selenite and gluconite. And the selenite is actually found in cracks of volcanic and fractures of volcanic rock. So that's not something that's readily available anymore. So if you want to try green earth, the combination they've come up with, that's the modern version, is chromium oxide, a black white, and some ochre. Because it's just, I mean, we just don't have volcanic fractures lying around at the ready to harvest it. And green earth looks like a very pale sort of green sage, if the green sage is faded and has too much gray. So again, I will link what those colors look like, because it is a muted pale green. If you want to try and make your own green earth, I would say just grab any green you have, a white and a black and a yellow and a blue, and I would keep adding whites to tint to lighten up the green you own, or blacks to shade to darken it to get it to where you need it to be, and then add a little yellow or a little blue depending on which way your green skews, and you could probably get pretty close and create your own hue mixture. The next green I want to talk about that's really interesting is called Scheele's green. Now Scheele's green was not actually used for paint, but it's important to talk about because it led to some paint. So Scheele's green was really popular in the 19th century, and it was invented though in 1775 by Carl William Scheele. And this was really popular for wallpaper, dye for clothes, and this is a very bright green, a bright grass green that sort of skews almost chartreuse. It's very bright, and it was made from copper and arsenic. Yeah, you heard that correctly. This green was poisonous, and it was most popular in the wallpaper, but you could have gloves with this color, the copper and the arsenic. You could have a dress, you could have all kinds of things. They used this for candles, for children's toys. They even used it as food coloring for candy. when they look back in history, at one point they thought that Napoleon had died from his wallpaper upon further examinations of his body, and this is the latest information I found. They did find tons and tons of arsenic in his body, but they do not believe that it was levels high enough to kill him, just make him incredibly ill. So, why are we talking about Scheele's green if it was a wallpaper and a candy? Well, emerald green, which unfortunately is not made from emeralds because that would be amazing and too expensive to own, was actually similar to Scheele's green. So it was also made of copper and arsenic. And emerald green was the green that artists used in their pigments. So Vincent van Gogh, he used it. It was one of his favorite pigments. He included it in a self-portrait of himself when he was younger and had a much smaller beard. And I will link the photo of this painting. I believe it's in the Harvard collection. And it has a very bright green, vivid background. And you will see that he used a huge quantity of the emerald green, and that's, when you know what it's made of, that's kind of frightening. So I don't actually recommend that at all. The next color I want to talk about is Winsor and Newton, and this is one you can buy, and it's not toxic, and it's not a weird, strange color that's hard to come by, but it is kind of a unique green, and I'm going to tell you why. So Winsor and Newton makes a color called Aqua Green. And you're thinking, oh, that sounds nice. This color has no actual pigment code number and is made from a polymer turquoise. Yep, sure is. And how this color came to be is Sun Chemical decided to manufacture this color for automobiles, and artists and creators just went, ooh, that's a cool color. How come there is no tube of that? And it's actually sort of a phthalo-based greenish blue, and you can buy it. So there's no pigment number, not a lot of information about it, but this green was originally created for cars. And it's probably one of the weirdest pigments you can buy right now on the market from where it originated from. So sometimes it's not always artists or creators coming up with new paints. Sometimes it's other industries. And sometimes when you look at when a pigment gets a light fast rating, sometimes it's from the automotive industry, and that's incredibly fascinating. So yes, green earth, Vermeer paintings, very strange portraits, Scheele's green, very toxic, very weird wallpaper, and then artists and painters using this really, really bright green that's poisonous. It's not the only pigment in history that's poisonous, and there's some pigments that I feel, if you want me to make another video doing another series of colors, I can, but some of them are going to need disclaimers, because some of the things that these old pigments are made out of is just, some are upsetting and some are just disgusting. But the history of pigments is fascinating, and looking at art history through some of the very specific pigments in history is a really interesting way to learn art history if you are interested in something like that. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.